Hello, hello. Welcome. Thank you for coming to the video. This will be a quick breakdown of Yellow Linlin. Now, I am no streamer, and nor am I a professional One Piece player of any sort, but I am a Yellow Linlin enthusiast, so I wanted to share some thoughts on my deck and how it plays, give a couple examples of why the deck is good, its potential, and then maybe show some actual gameplay later on. So this is the deck I use currently. It is packed full of triggers, as you can see. Many of these triggers will activate throughout the game as your opponent attacks into your life, and many come into good value. We have many cards that KO, many cards that have defensive capabilities, and many big bodies that your opponent will have to deal with later on in the game. Now, as I said, I am no professional streamer, so I'll use Microsoft Paint because it's a good tool. Now, Yellow Linlin is a 5-cost leader. She allows you to, when attacking with 2 Dawn attached, add 1 life card from the top or bottom of your life area to your hand. So you can do that at any point. You can take the top or bottom life and have it as a free draw. You'll lose the life for it, but it's there for you. It's good in matchups like against Nami, though, for example. Now, if you do that, you also get access to the second ability. If your life is at 2 or less, at this point, you may then place 1 card from your hand at the top of your life area. So, why is that important? Well, that's important because it allows you to put cards with triggers on your life. Triggers give you access to a whole new world of abilities, effects, tools, essentially, to get out of any situation that you might see coming down the line. So there are different pools of abilities, and it's good to understand what these pools are. In this first pool, we have your standard triggers. It says play this card on this trigger. So these bodies are great in Yellow Linlin because they come off your life and they give you immediate value. The value being they impact or improve your leader's attacking capability, and it forces your opponent to react accordingly. Puts them on the back foot if they're not expecting something like this coming off of your life. In addition, 3 cost, 3000 power, add 2 Dawn to it. If you need an extra swing, it's an extra tool for you. Similarly, Shirahoshi, it's one of the best cards that you can have come off life because it is a 5-cost card. That is a very expensive cost, especially for something with 0 attacking power. But the effect it gives you is very strong. And if you play, for example, like a Katakuri along with the Shirahoshi, there's additional value for that. Now you have triggers that you have access to that you can put in your deck that require you to pay something for you to play the body. So in this case, we have Satori, Perospero, and Charlotte Cracker. These cards require you to pitch a card from your hand. You have to throw away a card in your hand in order to play these. And at times it's not bad because you might have another pair of Sparrow or something in hand, and you'll pitch that one to play this one. You don't lose any counter power, and it seems like a good trade. But, you know, in a deck like this, it's good to have cards in your hand too. 0 cost event is very useful, but we'll get there. So some triggers, like the ones in this row, require some work, you could say. These triggers can come off of your life if your opponent is at 3 or less life. So what does that mean? So essentially, you need to do some work in some other way to put pressure into your opponent's life stack, while at the same time making sure their board doesn't get out of control, because that will put you on the back foot later on. You don't want to be on the back foot. But cards like Nekomamushi, using this card, if it's in your hand, to essentially clear up their board, it's a great way of controlling the early to mid game. and then allowing you to get access to some of your stronger cards later. In this fourth stack, you have some, I would say, more situational triggers. It's good to understand when to use these triggers. You don't want to be on the back foot when you're playing Olin, because if this body comes off life but you're losing the game as a result of it, well, it might have been better to put like a beige or something on there, right? You need to understand what your situation is. It's a case-by-case card, but it is very strong because it's a body that your opponent doesn't expect. It's 7 cost. It's a very high cost for a lot of cards to reach. And I mean, it's very strong. Same with Soul Pocus. It's a 5 cost card. Kind of expensive to play. If you don't have much to play, it's kind of nice to play it, but you want to know where you're at in the game, right? You want to know that if you're going to put this in your life and it's late game, if your opponent has 0 life, they can choose the option to not give you the life. They could trash their own life, even if they're at 0, essentially meaning they do nothing, and they get out of it for free. So the value dissipates with that. So at that point, it might be better to have these cards in your hand to use with a 0 cost event. That's some of the flexibility of the deck when it comes to triggers, when you lean on the trigger so hard though. But it's what makes it fun too. Linlin also has access to a wide variety of both offensive triggers, you could call them, and defensive triggers. So the offensive ones are ones that can impact your opponent's board. These cards, when played at the right time off of your life, can KO cards. Onami, Thunderbolt, and this Nami card can KO a 5 cost or less, which is important because with the new release of the starter deck Luffy, leader that is, it can raise a 4 cost into a 5 cost. So since Rebecca is such a strong defensive card, a blocker in those decks, you want to have a card that can essentially KO that card. Thunderbolt, Onami, and this Nami card are very good ways of reaching that. Runor Zoro, Monkey D. Luffy, very good. I like Luffy in my deck because it's a nice 5 cost play because you can swing with it. It's a 6k body, very good. You don't always have to get the effect off to get the value off of the card. Same with the defensive trigger value. You have these cards that allow you to push the game out a bit further. So with these cards, you have, I think, access to being one of the strongest decks because these are the strongest cards for the color, if you will, right? Compone Beige allows you to nullify or prevent any swing and stop future swings as well. So if you're playing against a green Uta, if you're playing against a leader that has access to cards with multiple swings, you can use this and nullify all the swings for a turn, which gets you the breathing room that you might need. Each of these cards plays a very strong role in the deck, and it's your choice to balance them out or whether to use them or not, but I think these are all very good defensive options. I want to play more with S-Snake because I want to see if she is useful. I think her on-play's ability is very good in decks like Blue, in the sense that she can also stop a swing coming in. And if we're going to be dealing with decks like starter deck Doflamingo, where they can just flood the board, S-Snake and this new Nami card might become very useful cards in the deck. So, more to come on that. These are some of the 2Ks that Linlin has access to. I wanted to break these down for you and just share these because I personally love running a lot of defensive options in the deck. I think this deck running around 10 to 12 2Ks is very good because you can guarantee the chance of having at least 1 or 2 2K counters in your hand at the beginning of the game. And that's important because you want to, in a sense, have the capability of controlling what life you lose and what you don't lose, right? You don't want to lose a life for no reason. Sometimes you need to lose a life so you can draw a card and fix your hand. Sometimes, though, you also want to use some of these triggers, or at least have access to the most possible value with these triggers as possible. So picking your 2Ks is important that way. Capone Beige, I think, is one of the strongest cards in the game, as it says. It nullifies an opponent's offensive threat like nothing else in the game because of the surprise value, the shock value. I put Frankie next here because it's also a good surprise tool. I personally made the mistake of playing this out in a recent locals, and I needed the 2K counter for the win in that game, so I made the mistake of using it to trigger at the wrong time. But that said, if you can play this out and get value out of it while still not losing the game, it's great. Satori, you gotta pitch a card to play it, but when you take an 8K swing in the very beginning of the game and you play this out, it's not that bad. You're putting yourself in a better footing if you have a card like this on the field in the very beginning of the game, right? Or in other parts of the game, you might need some more board presence, and this could come off life. But when you see this come off life and you need a 2K, it's a great 2K, right? Now Hiyori, I have a love-hate relationship with Hiyori because I've always wanted this to work in the deck. I've played it out on my first turn, and I've knocked it back with Katakuri onto life in the past, and that's been good. But when you can't do that, it's tough because you just see it out there on the field, and you know, think that you could have something else out there instead. That's tough, but you know, it's a 2K, it's a good 2K, and if you want to use the ability early on in the game, there's strength to that, right? If you have maybe 2 Thunderbolts in hand, and you want to put it into your life, and you're playing against a blue deck that floods the board, for example, or a Zuro deck that has lots of choppers, you know, there's value, right? Value is what you make of it, and this has value. This Charlotte Pudding, as well as the other 2 other Big Mom Pirates 2Ks here, are good because they're searchable. These are all searchable, and a lot of Linlin players run Parasparrow and they run Charlotte Pudding, which are both searchers, and they're fantastic. This leader and the Big Mom Pirates family have access to some of the best searchers in the game, I think. But I'm more of a risk taker at times, so I like to run the triggers, but there is a lot to be said about searchability, and these 2 are searchable. It's great. 2 cost, 3000 power, probably the best value in terms of playability as well as the effect. In terms of searchability, it's good. So with this card, you can, I believe it is, you can move a card from the top to the bottom of your life. I think it's a Katakuri effect, and I think you could do it for yourself or your opponent. There's value to that if you see the 0 cost event, or if you see, who knows, you can put anything you want, anywhere you want. I don't play around with it too much, but like I said, value. Value is what you make of it. This is a 2 cost, 3000 power card that can be played on your first turn, and you can swing into it on a following turn, or swing with it on a following turn, which is, you know, you can't take that lightly. And I just wanted to look ahead too. I wanted to take a quick peek at these cards that are coming down the line, because Yellow Linlin, she's not very talked about. People don't play her too much. I think she's a tough leader to pick up, especially when you have these other decks that are very exciting, very fun to play. You know, there's lots of good stuff out there. Why would you spend your time trying to figure out something different when you could get wins playing something that's very consistent? I get it. But these cards, I think they're worth talking about. They'll make this deck interesting, and who knows? Viable. I'll say it, maybe. Let's talk about it real quick. So these cards include Darashi. This card is fascinating because it's a 3-cost event that allows you to look at the top 5 cards, pick 2 cards that have trigger, put them in your hand. Now, I'm excited with Yellow Linlin because she has triggers, and this card essentially starts off as a Sanji Pilaf in the sense that it's a 3-cost card that gives you draw 2. Now, the draw 2 has the added effect here of allowing you to search the top 5 cards of your deck, right? So you get to pick whether those 2 cards are, counter, whether they're going to be Nekomamushi's offensive, whether they're going to be a 0-cost event that you might need to block out. This card is very, very exciting for Charlotte Linlin. Now, I'll let you test it. I'll do some of my own testing. We'll come back to this. I think I'll make another video soon. This is fun. I've never made a video before, so I hope this has been an okay time so far for you. Here is Charlotte Linlin. This is going to be a card coming out of the next starter deck. It's going to come at the end of the meta, and its effect is trash 1 card from your hand, and then your opponent has to make a choice, right? At that point, once you trash the card from your hand, your opponent has to trash 2 cards from their hand, or they have to give you a life. So if you put your opponent in this position near the end of the game, when they only have 1 life, or when they only have 2 cards in their hand and a couple of life, you might seal yourself a clear path to the end of the game with this card. I'm excited to test this card because it has a lot of potential. Now, trashing a card, with moving some numbers around, maybe we had some draw power, we have some cards that are worth trashing. I don't know, it seems very good. S-Shark. They have cards like S-Shark in other colors, and they added it to yellow. There might be other cards like this in yellow, but I like it in the sense that it's a 4-cost, 5,000 power, Dawn +1, so you attach a Dawn to it in order to get the effect. It swings in for 6 with the effect that blockers cannot be activated when this card attacks. So down the line, you're going to have blockers in black decks that are going to be issues. Of course, other colors have it, but we have Rebecca, we have Saba, we have Borsalino. We have Marshall D. Teach coming down the road. If you want to play Yellow Linlin down the road, this might be a good asset. Its trigger allows you to play it if you pay a cost and have 2 life, but, at that point in the game, heck, this might seal it for you. I want to test it. Finally, we have Brûlé. It is, I think, a 2K. Yep, it's a 2K. And its effect allows you to get some insight into your opponent's life cards. I think move some stuff around. Not bad, but for a searchable 2K, it has one of the best effects of the Charlotte Linlin family. So, yeah, good cards to look forward to, especially these top 2. And yeah, just a quick chat about the deck I'm running right now, because a lot of people don't run this deck, so it might be fun to talk about, because I think the numbers are fun, and I'll tell you what I want to change and do some testing with next. So Yellow Linlin, the leader. Of course, we've talked about the leader and all of its effects, so we have the 10-cost Yellow Linlin, Forbum, best card in the game, in my opinion. Fun times. We have 4 Capone Beige, 2K counter, best event or trigger in the game. And in addition, while we're on the topic of 2Ks, we'll talk about Satori, and we'll talk about Frankie. I think these are the good triggers to have on a 2K right now. We can have some of these come off life if the timing is right, and we could have, you know, something that saves our ass. Not bad. 12 2Ks in total. In the deck right now we have 2 members of the Land of Wano family, 4 Kikunojo and 4 Nekomamushi, 4 cost characters that come off life if your opponent has 3 or less life. I like to play aggressive with Onami, play it early on if it makes sense, because it gives us a 2 cost 3000 power body, but it also gives our leader a 2k power. So like on a, you know, your second turn, you add 2 Dawn to Linlin, you play this Onami, you have something on the board, and then you also swing for 7k with Banish. It makes your opponent play something from their hand in terms of protecting their life, or they take the life, and it gets us closer to these 2 conditions. Monkey D. Luffy. It's in the same family as Onami, Thunderbolt, and soon to be tested the next Nami card. It's good in the sense that we have 4, 8, 11. I'll probably swap a couple of these around for 2 more Namis, so 26% chance of a KO on life, just as a fundamental, starting number. But then as you go through the game, if you, don't start with these cards in your hand, that value or possibility goes up, right? Because that's just how drawing cards works. You draw more cards, you have more chance of seeing other cards elsewhere. It's going to be fun to test because this has been giving me a hard time. I still want to test it because it's a new meta. It's always a good effect. But I want something like S-Snake that has 1k counter. Or the new Nami card that also has counter. Something to think about. We have Brulees, 4 Brulees. It comes off life, it's free. Sanji's good, but you're blocking with something either way, and this is free, so I like that more. 3 Ace. This goes up and down. I liked it at 4. I moved it to 3 because I brought these guys in, but I might move this up to 4 again because having a free life or having these stats on the board, this is just a good round card. It fits well with the flow of the deck. But do your own testing. Katakuri could work too. Look at all the triggers, right? Thunderbolt, you might see it in your hand. If you see 2 of these in your hand in the start of the game, mulligan, you want to hope to see these in life. But if you have these in your hand, you could save it for the end of the game, or you could save it for a good moment to pair it with a 0 cost event. Soul Pocus, I think I might have talked about this, but mid game you could play this out, and it's just kind of annoying, right? Imagine being asked, do you want to lose a life or give your opponent a life? Like, no, I don't want to do that. That's a tough question. That's an annoying question. You don't want to do that. Getting this onto life is kind of one of the fun games in this deck. You're trying to find the perfect moment where you have 3 life, where you didn't have to lose life for free to get there. You have all this counter in the deck, and I want to add more, but you have all this counter in the deck to protect your life so that you can slowly float yourself down to 3 life, and then slip something tricky on there, right? Onami, Thunderbolt, these hit hard in this meta, but Monkey D. Luffy is nice because it's a 1k counter, and you could play it out. 6k swing, not negligible. I wish it was 4 cost, but that'd be kind of broken, right? So you get what you get. You get what you get. Yeah, I love the deck to death. I'll play it as long as I can. S-Shark is also something I want to put in for Linlin, in case black gets annoying. But also S-Snake is something that this deck has access to now, and maybe you need this in the deck. Who knows? Anyway, that's the deck where it stands, and that's my thoughts on how I want to mix it up a little bit. If you made it this far into the video, I just wanted to say thank you, by the way, for watching. I have never made videos before. I have never strung videos together or done any video editing before. Just kind of doing this on the fly because I enjoy playing this deck, and I don't think people play it very often. I think it has a lot of potential, and I think down the road there's lots of cards that are very good in it, and I think if more people wanted to play it, they would have a good time with playing their own versions of it. So this is just an attempt to get people a step closer in that direction, because One Piece is all about finding a deck that you enjoy and testing decks the best way possible so that you get the best feeling for whether you like it or not. So people have been doing that for a good while on, let's see, Mulligan, on Twitch, and yeah, there's a lot of good streamers out there that do this kind of stuff, and I don't know if I'm cut out for it, but I enjoy sharing what I love, and you know, that's something we have in common. And I do love this deck, so any tips I can give, I'll try to do that. Just reach out to me, and I'll see what I can do for you. Yeah, this is an interesting hand. I'm excited to try out the some of the new Egghead cards in place of this Linlin, but it might be useful here. Draw a card. Why do you have a Dono? Oh, because you played this and that's it? Excellent. Having a Brûlé allows us to block our life so that he can put something on the board, and then we can KO it, potentially. Of course, it's all luck, but we could potentially KO it. There are 10 cards, 20% chance it might happen left in the deck that could do it, so sounds like fun. He's running these cards. That sounds fun. I heard somebody talking about putting these in a yellow-purple... Oh, is it crocodile? Not crocodile. I think it's crocodile. You gonna swing at me? Is that a blocker? Yeah. I'll give you that then. If it wasn't a blocker, I'd probably use that, but if he's gonna block, he's gonna block. Blackhawk? Get it? Egg cards? Deploy. If you're trying to cost reduce, 5 is an issue for you. 5 is tall. It's not giant, but it's, you know, tall, grande. It's not venti. What does a king do on a 6 dawn turn? What? Huh? Where'd they go? Why didn't you use them? Oh, okay. Well, that's that. Alright, here we have a match against yellow-purple crocodile. I like the amount of counter we have in hand, and I like the Nami and the Neko in hand. It's the early aggression. That's nice. In this situation. I like having the Nekamamushi especially because I know he has a blocker that gives him heyo, a blocker that gives him a lot of value. So if we can just take that off the board early on, I'm happier about that. And here's why I'm happy about the Satoris. Just kind of coast us through the early game with no problem. Easy 5k. Perfect. We're online. Now if we get a Land of Wano type character off our life, life's good. I don't mind giving him this. I don't mind it. There's the, yep. Use 2 Dawn for this. I could either use Nami next turn and give this banish, get more cards out of his hand, or play another Nekamamushi in the case where he has another one of these. He might not have another one of those since he blocked out of it, so he might try to put a lot into getting rid of these. So I'll put another one on the board. One Piece is all about call and response. Doing something and seeing what your opponent gives you. Don't give them too much because then you can do more later. But if you don't use enough, then it doesn't call action. See? He really doesn't like this. I'm not giving him my 9k counter. Okay, never mind. Thank you, Relay. I think 8 is enough to give you an issue. Sure, I'll come away. If that's the attack you want to use it on. Nah. Good. Now if you play Crocodile, you only swing into this. With low numbers. Oh! Deal. We'll take it. We'll see it later. Heck. 5 and 5, you see it. Gimme, gimme. Takey, takey. Bet. We can play it. Good. Got a beige. Got a blocker. He might play another Yamato. Might play a Crocodile. Good for him. He's got good tempo with these with this order. Always wanted this deck to do well. That's probably gonna be the lowest power swing, so we'll counter out of that one. Because the next two are coming are 8 and 9. 9 first. Excellent. See? He's at 3 life. We're great. We're set. Ooh. or something now. Yeah, it's fine. Not bad. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Sure. And the ace to gain a life. We don't need the rush. And we know we're getting the Nekamamushi later. If he wants to do 4 swings into me... It has to be into my board. Good. Thank you. Perfect. I'm so happy. Yeah, you should block her up. Everything into his life. Everything into his life. If he is on his last life, and I can use Linlin to take it out and put him on 0 to give him that extra panic, that's an emotional shift that they don't expect. Now they're panicking about board, but the Linlin's still there. They should go into me for the game, but I think they're panicking, going for the board. I don't know. Can't speak for them. It's a low number. Sure. Ooh. So he might have an Okama way. But he doesn't have a blocker. Might have 2 Okama ways. Never know. 1. What are the odds? Do I trust my triggers? Play 10 mom, get another life? Do I go for the game? I don't know. I don't know. Haven't seen a brulee yet. I've seen a couple beige. Didn't have anything to play. Who knows? Could put a beige on the life, but he might have an Okama away. There it is. Oh, GG. Close. This is a good hand. I like it because there's a little counter power, but also a little power with the banish. Nice curve. They're at 3 dons, so maybe we can get something off live. Nope, that's okay. And there's a body we can pop too if we get something that like a Nami off live. That's good. Now we have 3 for him. Let's see what they do first with this. They still have 5 cards in hand. That's good. The offensive pressure up with him. Hopefully that'll be useful. Hopefully they swing with the leader first, because that way we can pop Law if we get lucky. $1K counter, not bad. 5 into 3. Free blocker, not bad. Searcher, okay. We're at 8 done. We're not too worried about losing the game soon. So I think Linlin's fine for now. Let's give him a hit. Good. What does he have for a 10 don turn? Interesting. So he might have a Sabo next turn. He'll be able to keep his board. When he swings with this. That's good. In case he does swing with this. So my thinking here is if he attacks, he'll KO everything on my side of the board. And I want that to be valuable for us too. So if I pop Pair of Sparrow, I get something when he dies. So that means I want to use 7 other Dawn right now on these characters that I think are going to die because of him. Yeah. And I think he has a Sabo too, which is going to protect this stuff. So I want to get KOs on this. Also, it'll be good to play the Parasparrow because he's oh Interesting. Because he doesn't have any counter. Does this change anything? No, I think I want to play both of these. Just to make sure he attacks. Give him more meat on the bone. Sabo? Yep. Swing with it all. Get a life. Sure. You lose all your Dawn. I wish. Okay. Draw. Make them feel the heat a little bit. Take the life, then hit. Make them realize what they're up against. Now see, here's where I want the new, what is it, S snake? Or S shark. The one that can go past blockers. That would end this quickly. Maybe I want to swap out Olin for that. That'd be nice to have in hand. So, I swing with her. This one. Kill one of the blockers. I swing with this one. Kill another one of the blockers. I thunderbolt the last one. I lose a life though. Shoot. Gotta put out a blocker. Right? Is that right? this out of my hand for now. Give me Sabo. Can I get through this next turn? Block that one. 7 plus 5 can swing even. I can block that. Sabo. Two big swings. Blocker. Maybe 12-12 with the blocker. I'd be safe for another turn. And they'd still have to deal with a lot. Let's start with that. They don't have 5-2Ks, right? There's 1-0 cost event. There's 2, 3. Ooh, I should have left that. That's okay. I want to know what they have. Honestly. GG. Purple Luffy, what do you do? You get done. I might just call it an okay hand. Sure. I like the 1K counter and the 3K counter with these two. Oh, gosh. What I like about it, though, is that there's a lot of triggers here. I hope. I kind of want that. I wanted the counter as well. Oh! Oh! He played this, so I want to hit a trigger. Now I'm at 3. I can put this on my life. Yep. he's at 3 life. Now he's at 2 life. Jeez. Is this the end of the game? What's going on? What are you gonna do? You're gonna do that, huh? Fascinating. I want to play 7. It's fine, bud. Alright. 7 Dawn for Linlin. Put you on life as well. Thank you. Sure. Sure. Which 2? Those 2? Take it. What was that? Look at that. King. Got a lot of 2Ks. Ain't bad. Got Charlotte Linlin. Not bad. There's worse hands to have. Oh. What you gonna get? Yellow Linlin into King. So he wants to play. What does he want to bring out? Onigashima. There it is. He found it. Then he wants to play... What, purple cards? What, a second one? I hesitate to play Kikunojo early on, because then he'll know that I'm trying to get him to 3 or less life. But maybe that's just in my head. It's a good 4-6, but I could always play it on the next turn. What? I thought you had one out already. Maybe you didn't. No. 7K, so you can have it. And then I'll take that. Trigger happy deck. Life's good. So now we can swing 6. He doesn't have a blocker. Or sorry, 7 into his life. Now, this will be online, which is great. He has the potential to get 9 Mom though, Put him back at 4 life. We love the blockers in hand, or not the counter, the 2k counters. Sorry. Oh gosh. He's doing that already. Well, it'll distract this guy for a minute. Excellent. So hopefully he gives me a 1k counter here. I want to swing 10 into Jack. I want to play this. I want to play Nekamamushi. Just more board presence with smaller bodies that he's not expecting. Perfect. Give me a 2 and a 1k. Your hand's gonna get small. He can get rid of my Nekamamushi, that's fine, but then he's rested again. Okay, there's a blocker. Draw 2, trash the island. Makes sense. It's a very good card. You're at 10 Dawn without 10 cost characters to play with it though. I'm working my way to 10 and I got something to play. But I might want to play the 7 cost next. Slowly playing this escalating cost of bodies is making him wait too long, right? He wants to save it for this, but if he's waiting so long, then I'm slowly building a board with these other guys, right? I'm tempted to attack into this, and then attack into this, and then just attack into his life. What else is he gonna play though? He still has more turn left. See, here I want to get a trigger. I haven't seen any of my Thunderbolts, right? I haven't seen any Onamis, any Luffy's. What else could I run into here? Another Brûlée? Yeah, lots of triggers in the deck. Excellent. Excellent, okay. So I could use 3 Dawn for this. Three Dawn for this. Put this into life. 3 Dawn for this, and then maybe, or maybe play whatever is here on life. But also, doing this allows me to see if I can play this too, because 3 Dawn investment allows me to have 7 Dawn left up for Linlin too. It's all about leaving enough Dawn available for options while still pressing as much as you can offensively. Okay, that's a big tool. That would have been perfect. But this is the perfect time of the game to have that on life. Excellent. So we're getting this ability. For practically nothing. That's the value of Linlin. It's like we played 5 additional cost of card by just swinging. Perfect. There's that. the counter for that. Interesting, he drew a card. Well, what's the card? Guess it wasn't a good card. $12 2Ks, 3 0 cost events. It's what allows you to get through the game protecting your life. But doing it when he, you know, swings for 6K, right? That's how you get the most value possible. If he swings for 5, you use a 1K, but the 1K you need the least. If he swings for 6, you swing with a 2K, or you block with a 2K counter. Protect yourself. Excellent. No need. What else you got? Come on. Play a blocker. Play 2 blockers. So now the soul focus we placed on life earlier isn't as valuable because they didn't put a lot of pressure on our life stack. But it's no issue. Alright, this one's tough. He's one of the strongest opponents in the meta. You can pick second, put us on the back foot a little bit. But it's not unplayable. Unless you get a hand like that. Well, yeah. Against Lucci, I'm not opposed to swinging right at him. Just take it. You like the resources. It'll help you against my big mom. Why? Why? I guess you can get it later, but I guess. That's fair. That's fair. But I play a trigger deck. I get a free poke into you. Will you give me the 2K back? Ooh, you got rid of a Moria. That's not bad. Five cost Luffy. A good reason to have 5 cost Luffy in this deck. Taller body for Lucci to get rid of. He has to use more resources. With them getting rid of stage, this is a difficult card for him to get rid of, especially if you have 2. He's thinking about it. I think he wanted to use the effect. Poor guy. Alright, this one's tough too. We'll go second, that's best for us. Ugh. A lot things I want to see on life. Mulligan, cross our fingers. That's interesting. This will help for a block. This will help for a block. Just block our life stack as much as possible from this menace. He's already at 3. You're rushing things, man. I mean, I get it. I know that's what you want to do as you, but okay. But I'm online. He's at 3 life. That's why I'm happy. Ho ho ho. Interesting. Another non-mommy. He wants to go down quicker. I think we just want to do that. Let him sit at 3 life. Let him not have what he wants. Our value is getting the board cleaned up with our janitors, Nekamamushi and Nekamamushi. There's that. Yep. Yep. Get that out of here. Get that out of here. It's cleaning day. Oh, it's cleaning day. Yep, thank you. It's cleaning day. Yep, it's cleaning day. Okay, Linlin is an interesting card in this matchup. It's a 12k body. It swings over his 9k wall. It's great. Trash KO. Thank you. 5 cost Sabo. I like having him around. He's a good time. I'll keep him. Thank you. Janitor duty with Nekamamushi. This is why I like him. Give me 2 2Ks again. Give me 3 cards. He won't. And now he's a blocker. He's gonna swing into him again because of all that stress I've been giving him with him. I could protect with up to 5k counter. Because this deck... Ah, there you go. KO with Luffy. Oh! Kikanojo. What is it, a 9k swing into a Neko? Yeah, this deck runs 12 2Ks, 11 or 12 2Ks, and 3 0 cost events. 7 Linlin, 0 cost event, Soul Pocus. Those are always interesting ratios to play with. Nekamamushi's just giving him so much trouble. I like keeping him around. I'm just having such a good time. He seems really stressed out about it. Oh. Just do that. Use your resources to take your own life. Respectfully, like One Piece, you know. Take your last life card. Yep. Use your resources to get rid of him. You're not going to use all of your dawn to swing into to Linlin, are you? Nope. I can block out of it with a 2k now. 2 Sabo. Sure. We have to make him use his little Sabos. We have to swing into him eventually. But by pushing him so late into the game, before he could use his leader ability, we have some control. And I call 7 life control. And later on, these will wear off. These KO immune effects will wear off. We have a lot of stuff that'll help us with that. We haven't run into a single Thunderbolt. Oh wow, look at you. I was wrong. Resolve. Good for you. Anyway. As you were saying. And I could be playing a 10 cost ace. Just getting this stack bigger and bigger, getting more big bodies on the board. Late game is good with this deck. Moria. KO these by bringing back the little Sabos, right? Could have swung with him. You want to keep him up. You don't want to play him. You do want to play him. It's a big swing coming. Careful, Burley. Yow. Just do the thing. Just apply the pressure. That's all four. Could have been any of our big bodies, but, you know, it's pretty big. Yeah, I get it. GG. Yeah, thank you for watching. I hope this helps. There's lots of good Linlin info throughout this throughout these videos. I hope it helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a good one.